All right. Hi, it's Miss Melinda. Welcome to Miss Melinda's Spontaneous Smart Diva Show. How are you guys doing out there, huh? What night is this? This is Memorial Day weekend. So you're probably not even on the internet. You're probably all out there just partying up a storm. Well, I've been blasting music in my headphones, cordless headphones, TV headphones, having a ball, dancing with my tambourine, and writing up my notes and reports and researches I did for you guys for class tonight. So, I started out with just some miscellaneous on it's all with about Jodi Arias trial. But so the first part, I'll just let me read it to you. But the second part gets really good because you don't know. See, I already knew this about. Okay, so here we are. Let me get this clear. We are in law class 6, and the name of the law class is trials, quote unquote. So all 6 trials are the same law class, and it's going to remain that way for months. Okay, so I had some juice. We got Jodi Arias, and we got Travis Alexander. For those of you who have never watched any of my videos, any new viewers, I'm taking them through a trial, a whole trial. And I started with actually the whole beginning before you get to the courtroom. I started with all the steps that have to happen before you even get to the courtroom, okay? But that's behind us, but not completely. Down the road, you always got to look up, old like steps and subjects, like discovery. I could be studying, researching that for the rest of my life. But in the last video, which isn't uploaded yet, I have to have my tutor upload it. So, anyway, in the second half of this, I says, okay, we got to think of a new, what subject do we want to do for Jodi Arias? And I came up with, who Jodi and see, I keep getting Travis and Trayvon Martin mixed up because they both were trials next to each other. One's Travis and one's Travis. Okay, Travis, the white man in Arizona. Okay. Jodi Arias stabbed him to death and then shot him in the head. I have to tell all the new people. Okay. So, if you're new, hit my subscribe button and hit my like, please. And check out all my videos. I want my subscribers, my fans, my viewers, and any new subscribers or new viewers, hanging around, seeing if they want to, stick with me. Do first this whole. Now that I got this really serious law class, I turned into one big law class, and I quit teaching the solar system, neurology, neuroterminology, just all kinds of stuff. I also was teaching before this YouTube channel. I was teaching biology over on another social media, but they didn't get to see and hear me like you guys do. So we're gonna have a lot of fun. It's Memorial Day weekend, yeah. Yeah, I've been dancing up a storm with my tambourine while I'm writing and researching. So the second part of this class is going to tell you who Travis Alexander's parents were. Okay, we're going to tell you the second half of the class. I thought it would be really fascinating to research Travis Alexander's mom and dad, because I knew the shit on them, because I watched not only the true documentary where you see the real people. Yeah, I saw Jodi live on on my computer, or maybe it was my TV, on court TV. I don't know, but I saw her trial, the real one. That was on my TV. That was long enough ago. It was on my TV. Yeah. And then, so yeah, I saw Travis Alexander and Jodi Arias' trial live, the real one. And she had two lawyers, Jennifer, and I forget the man's name, but a man and a woman. And her lawyer, they made her, so what they did was, Jodi used to make her hair blonde like mine. I bleach mine. I don't know if she actually used bleach. She could have just used like a ton of real, that makes it real blonde, like a dye blonde, like, but I don't know. I'm the only one that can usually get my hair this blonde with like a real extra light blonde, blonde. Jodi's probably couldn't do it that way. Everybody I know says I have to go, dye my hair 6 different colors just to get it red, or I have to dye it 6 different colors to get it like a bleached look. My friends all say that, but I was born with white hair. So, all right, let's stick to what's going on, Melinda. Okay. Okay. My hair came out beautiful. You know what? I quit blow drying my hair completely, so I don't have to worry about it burning one strand of my hair. I just brush it upside down, keep brushing it upside down when it's wet. And look at how beautiful. It looks so much healthier. It looks really healthy. Well, it looked healthy when I was blow drying it, but this really has an extra shine to it. Yeah, it looks really nice, just naturally brushed upside down with no heat or wind pressure smacking at your hair. Okay, so let's get started. I didn't finish my thought about the end of the class. So I had some dirt on Travis Alexander's parents. So I says, let's dig them up. My students and my fans will be fascinated to hear who Travis Alexander's parents were and his life. So I said, good idea. And then it started going into, which was perfect, one of Travis's friends, female friend, a female friend of Travis's, was talking to the ABC News. So she said a lot about Jodi, and she was real honest. She gave a lot of compliments, as much as, she knew there was something wrong with her. All his friends were scared for him, but she gave him such good sex, and he gave her such good sex. He just couldn't beat it. And I'll tell you what, they keep calling him a devout, what do you call it? I can't even think of it. I want to say monsoon. What is that religion? I can't think. I can't think of it. Anyway, he was a devout something. Well, that's bullshit, because he was screwing Jodi the whole time. And they try to make it like, it's her fault. Like, it ain't the guy sticking his dick in her. It's all her fault. Yeah, that's what they're trying to act like. Like, the guy didn't have much to do with it. She kept seducing him. Poor him, she kept seducing him. Well, if you're a devout Mormon, that's it. If you're a devout Mormon, and you got a fucking brain in your head, and your head screwed on tight, you're going to say, no, I don't have sex. I'm a Mormon. So she joined the Mormon, and he baptized her in a lake. But it didn't stop him from not being a devoted Mormon. He continued with Jodi, and it's all her fault to everybody. That, now the guy with the dick that's got to stick it in, he ain't got nothing to do with it. No, he's fucking innocent. It's all Jodi's fault. Ain't that a crock of shit? Okay. But so it'll be interesting at the end because I got a lot on the parents. Oh, and then it went into too long, bunch of big paragraphs of who not Trayvon Martin. See, I keep getting the two mixed up. Travis Alexander. They go into telling you a little bit about Travis Alexander, and he had 7 siblings. That's a lot of kids. So there was 8 kids. Yeah. After the murder of Travis Alexander, one of his sisters became a cop, and she was short and little. I don't know how they handle those streets. You pull a guy over 6'4", and he ain't gonna, go with this cop, which is, I'm saying, Travis Alexander, that the sister that chose to be a cop was the littlest and shortest. If she pulls over some guy 6'4", and she's going to write him a ticket for speeding, and then she makes him do a breathalyzer because she smells alcohol, and he say, hey, you ain't taking me. All he's got to do is, surprise her, haul off and smack her one time and kill her. If he doesn't kill her, she'll be in a concussion before she can even call for help. So I don't know how those cops do that. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, it'll get real interesting at the end because the parents are an interesting couple. And, and then it tells, like, who Jodi was. A friend of Travis Alexander, a female friend, Hughes, just call her Hughes, 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 because they had like 3 names. So Hughes, a female friend of his, talks about Jodi to ABC. So you're going to get to hear that at the end of the class too. And she even complimented her just to be honest. This Hughes talking for one of her best friends, Travis Alexander, who got slaughtered and shot. She wanted the true story when she talked to ABC News and whoever other people. They call it outlet. I don't know what the hell that means. But anyway, this friend talked and said a lot about Jodi Arias and then about Travis Alexander and their relationship. Okay, so let's get going. And once again, the best is at the last. But I really didn't know what I was going to do. When I got done, like, with the class as much as I wanted to do, like, I couldn't think what to write up to say for you guys to be exciting, And it just happened spontaneously. See, that's how my life is. I'm just researching, and I get the parents, and then I get somebody explaining about who Jodi. We get a bunch of paragraphs on who Jodi is and who Travis Alexander is. Okay, let's get started, guys. Okay? All right, let's get started. Here we are. Okay, this is called Law Class 6 Trials. Okay? It says not taking a plea bargain. Well, I don't know why they started this. Here, Jodi Arias did not have a choice. Oh, I'm talking. This is me talking here. They're saying, I'm in this research on the internet that Jodi didn't take a plea bargain. Jodi didn't have a choice, okay? No, Jodi Arias did not have a choice. So I don't know why they said like she had a choice. Because, quote, right now, in '08, the jury ultimately decided, against her plea for a lesser sentence. Although there were discussions about a possible plea deal prior to her trial, she was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Okay. It's not all quite that simple. Okay, so here we go. I gotta move back some. Okay, there, that's better. Okay, so, next page. Jodi Arias received her first trial when she was convicted of murdering her boyfriend, Travis Alexander, in '08. After a series of legal proceedings, she was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole in May 2013. See, I saw this live, this trial on my TV. And then I saw the movie, yeah. You should see if you can find the movie. So it says, without the possibility of parole in May 2013, marking her second trial as the final decision on her sentence was made after a jury deadlocked on the death penalty option, okay? Yeah, wait till you hear how many people that caused the deadlock. Wait till you hear that one. I think towards the end of the class I come across it. Okay, so no, a jury deadlocked on the death penalty does not mean all jurors voted against it. In fact, it indicates that the jury could not reach a unanimous decision. Well, that sounds the same. It says, does not mean all jurors voted against it. Well, no, it doesn't mean, okay, you have to be unanimous. Well, let me read this, okay? Let's get this clear. It says, does not mean all jurors voted against it. In fact, it indicates that the jury could not reach a unanimous decision. Okay. Well, yeah, they couldn't reach a unanimous decision. So, right, that's why you don't get the death penalty. But I don't know why they're mentioning up here. It does not mean all jurors voted against it. Nobody said that. I don't know why they're saying that. They said they couldn't get a unanimous decision. That is what happened. So keep it simple. Don't throw that bullshit sentence up there in there. All right. So indicates that the jury could not reach a unanimous vote. Okay. Decision. Unanimous decision, which is necessary for a death sentence. Okay. The deadlock means that the jury was unable to agree on whether to send Arias to death row or to life in prison, leaving the decision to the judge. Excuse me, I'm getting hot. I'm gonna take my jacket off. This is my buckle jacket, and this blouse I have on, that's a buckle blouse. Guess who wears buckle clothes? Kim Kardashian. Yeah. I caught her in my buckle clothes in Los Angeles, walking in Los Angeles with her husband at the time, Kanye West. She was wearing my exact buckle top, and you can't buy that top anywhere but Buckle. Buckle is all original Buckle. Yeah, there is no store copying their clothes. They can't. Yeah, I was really shocked. And her mom has my sweater I bought from a really expensive place, but I'm not sure what. Okay, so there we are. All right. Okay, now. Oh, this is perfect. See? We could see everything. Pull my top down. See, I pull my bosoms up, and I pull the top down, and then you have a nice cleavage. See, it was meant to. That's what this buckle blouse is meant. They cater to busty women, so they have it real low cut. This, look at it. It's called. I call it my heavy metal top. See the metal studs? Those are real metal studs, individually put into this shirt, and it's in the arms. See, and it's in the back. See. You know how much money that costs to put all those silver studs in this top? So I call it my heavy metal top. Yeah. Okay. Moving right along, folks. So, no. Oh, wait. I already read this part, but I didn't finish. Let me see where we're at. So the deadlock means that the jury was unable to agree on whether to send Arias to death row or to life in prison, leaving the decision to the judge. Okay. This situation is rare. And typically occurs when jurors have differing I don't know, I ended the period. Would you believe Jodi Arias, her jurors, listen to this. This is what I was going to tell you about. Her jurors were 11-1. There's 12 jurors, right? We all know that? Her jurors were 11-1 for death penalty. One person saved Jodi's life. One person saved Jodi's life. Yeah. So, that's crazy, isn't it? Yeah. Just like the OJ trial, one person wanted him to be guilty. Not dead, but guilty. And they all talked that one, in that case, though, into going along with them. She was the only white woman, and I don't think she was like, a person that's been around like me and all that. She probably felt intimidated by all the blacks, and she went on, and that OJ won, and he got guilty because they got that one lady, the one white lady, yeah. So anyway, Jodi's life was saved by one juror. Wow. Okay. But see, because you have to be not guilty. The verdict has to be not guilty if you want to be completely safe the rest of your life. You can never be brought to trial again because it's double jeopardy. If you got voted not guilty, like OJ, he could never be tried for that trial again. No. But what they did was the father of the man he decapitated, O.J. Simpson, that family took him to court for civil money for some kind of manslaughter or something like that. All right, here's the next one. Okay. When jurors deadlock on the death penalty, it means that the jury is unable to reach a unanimous decision on whether to impose the death penalty. This situation can rise in capital sentencing hearings, where the jury must unanimously agree to a sentence recommendation. If the jury cannot reach a unanimous decision, the judge may declare a mistrial. Now, see, if you get a mistrial, now they can retry you again. A mistrial does not save you from double jeopardy. A mistrial, you can be tried again. You have to be absolutely 100% not guilty in order to never be tried again for that crime. But OJ ended up going, to jail for, he commits another crime years later, like a dumbass. I mean, so, okay, well, we're not going into him now. Okay, let's stay focused. So if the jury cannot reach a unanimous decision, the judge may declare a mistrial, which she can still be tried again, and of course they did. And the case may be retried. In some jurisdictions, such as Missouri, a judge may impose a death sentence when the jury deadlocks in the penalty phase despite objecting, okay, from the jurors, okay. The practice is authorized by law, okay, and is intended to ensure that the decision to impose the death penalty is made by a jury rather than a single governmental official. Did you guys get that one? You want me to read it one more time? Objections from the jurors. This practice is authorized by law and is intended to ensure that the decision to impose the death penalty is made by a jury rather than a single governmental official. Yeah, that would kind of worry me, just the judge, yeah. Okay, first trial was a hung jury, okay. In the case of Jodi Arias, the first trial was a hung jury, okay? And then, meaning the jury could not reach a unanimous verdict, okay, on whether to sentence her to death or life in prison. After the first trial, a second jury was called. Okay, so you do need a new jury if you retry somebody. I was trying to figure that out in my last class. Well, the one class you guys get to see, that last one, I still got another one I have to upload. Anyway, I didn't know if you use the same jury on a retrial or if you had to get a new one. It says a second jury was called in. So they do have to get a new jury for a second trial. Well, I think that's damn right, and it should be the law, because using the same jury on a second trial, that there's a lot of bias in there, a whole bunch of, try again with the same people that already, hung jury, and, have the same feelings, No, they got a second jury. So I think it is the law. I don't think they can retry you with the same jury. Yeah, that just don't sound right to me. So yeah, it was a second jury was called in for a penalty retrial. Okay, so this was just a penalty retrial. I thought it was a whole new trial, because I watched that on TV live too, the real Jodi Arias. I thought it was a whole new trial. No, I misunderstood it. It says the second jury was called in for a penalty retrial. So they don't go back to the beginning and do the whole trial over again with this new jury. All this new jury in second trial is just a penalty retrial. They're trying her for whether she should go to death row or serve life without parole. That's what that second trial was about. I just learned that now. I kept trying to figure out. I kept saying, who represented her at the beginning of the second trial? And they wouldn't answer me because there was no second beginning of a trial. No, they skipped the whole trial, even though it's called a retrial, and they go to penalty retrial, okay? And she wanted her two lawyers that she had, Jennifer, and I forget how to say his name, but they said no, they didn't want to. But then it said that they or the man, excuse me, oh boy, excuse me. They said the man, I think was represented her for the penalty retrial, but then I don't know, something happened with him, and she had wanted to do. Jodi Arias wanted to be her own lawyer on the second trial, and the judge wouldn't let her do it. But then she decided, well, I'll let Jodi do her own penalty retrial. So all this trial's about is deciding if we should, murder her or give her life in prison. And I think the judge said, okay, she can represent herself for the penalty retrial. So it's a penalty phase. So it's like the end. It's actually like after the trial. So this is not that kind of retrial. I don't know, because I saw Betty Broderick. You know her? That's another one I could yeah, oh, she's a ball. I got her movie. Yeah, I saw her trial 2 times. Now, see, she had a second trial, and they treated it just like the first trial, where you had to go through all the stages. Yeah. But, of course, it had to be a whole new jury. It had to be. But the same prosecuting attorney stayed and did the on Betty Broderick. All right, you're confusing them, Melinda. Keep moving. Okay, so the second jury was called in. I just want to mention, real quick, I was reading the internet and it said the man lawyer. So she had a man and a woman, the first trial, right? And they made her female lawyer had brown hair, and Jodi dyed hers brown. Well, it's her natural color, but she probably had to hurry up and just dye it brown instead of waiting for it. And then she cut it, like just below her shoulders instead of real long and bleach blonde and looking real sexy. And then so her female lawyer has brown thick hair, cuts hers the same exact length, so they look like the Bobbsey twins. Like she's not a criminal, she's like with her, this lawyer kind of thing, you know what I mean? Yeah, it could confuse jurors, Yeah. So when they say she had a second jury, they're just talking about the penalty phase. Okay. Well, I never heard it like that. When I hear retrial, they got to start over the whole thing. They did it on Broderick. I don't know. I've been researching so hard with this stuff with Jodi today. I was in so many complicated situations trying to figure out. Okay, so penalty retrial. So I got to see Jodi. See, I knew I saw her get to play her own lawyer. I just didn't know it wasn't the beginning of a real trial. It was just the penalty phase, which is basically after the trial, is the penalty phase, or the last phase or step, Yeah. I saw her work that courtroom and those jurors. She got to just do the penalty phase. And I know one time she said, I want the death penalty. I want the death penalty because of something. She had a reason she wanted the death penalty. And then she changed her mind. Yeah. Yeah, that'll be a good subject to look up for you guys. Because I want to remember why she was. I think she was using reverse psychology. I think that's what it was. I'm going to look that up tomorrow because that's interesting. I think she might have thought of saying, I want the death penalty, so they won't give her what she wants and they'll keep her alive. I think that's what she was thinking. I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that part. So anyway, I got to see her work the courtroom and the jury. But I just read at the end of the day of me doing all this research, she just got her, what do you call that? I don't even remember anymore. Her GED. She just got her GED in prison. She acts and talks so highly intelligent and educated. You can be intelligent, but if you don't have a lot of education, you're not going to know a lot of the rhetoric she uses or how to do, she was, because she wasn't scared. And she was working that courtroom and that jury. She was real smooth, and she'd pull out paper, maybe pass it out to him or something, And she was real smooth, suave, relaxed, peaceful, happy, loving to the jury, because she knows she does. You kiss up to whatever you want to get from somebody, and that's Jodi's whole life, see? And so I was amazed. And then I just read this afternoon, a couple hours ago, she just got her well, not just now, but since she's been there, she got her GED in prison. So she didn't even graduate high school. Oh, I can't believe it. No. But see, if he didn't meet her, Travis Alexander, if he would have eventually met another gorgeous woman that would have really turned him on, and he would have fucked her too. Why is he going to be any different with any other woman? He was a good-looking guy, tall man, good-looking. He had made his own money and got a nice house, fancy house in Arizona. So if she never came into the picture, the next gorgeous, beautiful woman that hit on him, and he was totally turned on by her, he'd happen to sack in 5 minutes. They keep calling him a devout Mormon. He ain't no devout Mormon. That's like the biggest joke. And, even after they got her baptized and became a Mormon, that you're still doing sex, So, okay, objections from the jurors. This practice is authorized by law and is intended to ensure that the decision to impose the death penalty is made by a jury rather than a single governmental official. Okay, first trial was a hung jury in the case of Jodi Arias. The first trial was a hung jury, meaning the jury could not reach a unanimous verdict on whether to sentence her to death or life in prison. After the first trial, a second jury was called in for a penalty retrial, but again, the jury could not reach a consensus. A consensus. Ultimately, the judge declared a mistrial, and Jodi Arias was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. April 2015, a judge sentenced Jodi Arias to life in prison without possibility of parole by brutal murder of her ex-boyfriend, Travis Alexander. She stabbed him 27 times, slashed his throat, ear to ear, and shot him in the head as he showered in his Mesa, Arizona home in June 2008. I saw the movie and them relive it out. And she went in that shower and stabbed him in the shower, and blood's pouring out of him in the shower. He said, Jodi, what are you doing? Oh, it was so sad. As mean as he is and abusive, and uncaring to Jodi, that he could be too. If you know you don't want this woman to marry, you don't keep seeing her because you're tearing her ass up and you're playing with her emotions. Yeah, but he didn't give a shit. He was too horny, and she gave him too much good sex. A lot of women don't know how to give good sex. And being gorgeous, So, where is she today? Okay, I told you that's where I went next at the second half of my class here. So, where is she today? Jodi Arias is currently serving her life sentence at Perryville Prison in Goodyear, Arizona. She has been in custody since her conviction in 2013 and has been working as a library aide since July 2018. Prior to this, she worked in the quote, store warehouse, unquote, from 2017 to 2018. Arias has been involved in various activities within the prison, including let me think of the word, interacting. Okay, it's in my shorthand and the markers bleed. So, okay, including interacting with other inmates. Okay, she shows much interest in interacting with other inmates, and instead of having a fuck you attitude, she had gratitude and attitude. And participating in educational programs. Her life behind bars continues to be a subject of interest, with ongoing media coverage and updates on her activities and experience. Let's see, it's in shorthand. Experiences. Okay. It's experiences in shorthand. Okay, took me a minute. Experiences. I had to sound it out. So, updates. So there's ongoing media coverage on Jodi Arias, updates on her activities and experiences. Okay, so Travis Alexander was a California native born in the city of Riverside, California, to Gary David Alexander and Pamela. At age 11, Alexander moved in with his paternal grandparents, his grandma and grandpa of his dad, his 7 siblings. So they got 8 kids. I told you, remember, I had dirt on the parents? Well, listen to this. His 7 siblings, 8 kids they had to feed and drink. 8 kids joined him in the move after the death of their father. Listen to this one. That's sad. Listen to this one. So, the 7 siblings joined him in the move after the death of their father, who died right on Travis's 20th birthday. Isn't that horrible? Oh my God, after everything they've been through, oh my God, he must be terrified for life, the short life he had. So his dad died in a car accident right on his son Travis's 20th birthday. That has got to be the most horrible feeling for the rest of your life. So, in July 97, college was not for him. The car accident was in 97. Okay. College was not for him. Travis aspired to be a motivational speaker like me. and held various jobs. Itching. Held various jobs in his career, like telemarketing, which I started out with at 14 years old, and I became the supervisor by the time I was 16. Gail promoted me to supervisor of 20 telemarketers, and I had to do all the hiring, firing, training in the back office, and training them. Yeah, and I told her I'm rewriting the pitch too, the pitch. And she said, okay, you can have all those responsibilities. And I said, fine, I'll take the job. So at 16, I already got my office and my own desk to kick my feet up on, literally. Yeah, at 16 years old. I've been working since I was 14. 1973, I've been paying my Illinois state taxes and my federal government taxes. So you're damn well they're feeding me and taking care, helping me. Okay, so yeah, the state or the federal government wouldn't have any money if I didn't give it to them. A chunk out of my money every month or every week or whatever. Okay, so he's a motivational speaker and held various jobs with his career, like telemarketing and retail sales. He was also a devout Mormon. That's a good one. He was a devout Mormon. The minute she meets him, he hops in the sack with her. He's a devout Mormon and never quit either. Yeah, he's a devout. I get a kick out of that one. Okay, so let's move on. That's a funny one. He was a devout Mormon. Settled. So he settled after he made enough money, saved for a house. He settled in a beautiful house in Mesa, Arizona. Okay. Law Class 6. Name of the class is Trials, quote unquote. He and Jodi, according to their friends. Okay, these are going to get interesting. This last half, I still got a pretty little good pile of paper here. It's going to get interesting, so try to listen closely, okay? Okay, so Law Class 6, the name of the class is Trials. He and Jodi, according to their friends, had, quote, potent chemistry, unquote, and an instant connection. Yeah. And an instant connection upon meeting in September 06. Oh, I didn't know they went that far back. Dating, wow. Meeting in September 06. And then, quote, this is, I think, a friend of Travis Alexander's, a girlfriend of his, a female friend of Travis is telling after after Jodi murdered Travis. This friend of his, a female friend of Travis, said, quote, Jodi was really excited about the relationship. She loved how funny he was, how much fun they would have together. Alexander's friend, Sky. Okay, that's this Hughes. Okay, well, we'll call her Sky then. Her nickname Sky. They didn't show it later on pages, so I forgot it. Okay, so they would have together. Alexander's friend Sky was the one that said all that, and told ABC News that that he and Jodi, according to their friends, had potent chemistry and instant connection upon meeting in 06. She was really excited about the relationship, and she loved how funny he was and how much fun they would have together. Alexander's friend Sky, quote unquote, Lavie Hughes, forget her rest of her name, that's just confusing. So Sky told all that to ABC News. Just watch this video 10 times, please, so you can remember everything. Are you listening? Come on, guys. Okay. The two dated long distance. Now they're going to tell you about each one of them and them together. The two dated long distance. She lived in Palm Desert, California. And early on, friends of the couple expressed concerns early on their relationship. Yes, Travis Alexander's parents. This is what I knew. I Googled this. Well, I Cortana'd it. And I asked because I knew this from watching the trial and the movie. Yes, Travis Alexander's parents struggled with serious drug addiction. It was crystal meth. That stuff is some wicked shit. Yeah, and they got 8 children. And their parents, Travis Alexander and his 7 siblings, had nothing to eat in the refrigerator. There was never food in the refrigerator, or a gallon of milk, or a gallon of orange juice. You know, they suffered badly from both parents constantly using methamphetamine. What I want to know is how the hell did she kick out 8 babies, not born, palsies. Oh, that shit should really kick out injured, damaged babies when you're using methamphetamine. And don't tell me, well, it was just a little here and a little there. It ain't. You don't do a little here and a little there. And you got no food in the fridge. That ain't no little here. So I'm still asking, how did she push out those 8 healthy babies? Okay, if the refrigerator's bare, then I don't know if you're keeping a regular job, but if the refrigerator's bare, I would say you're not keeping a job. And even if you are keeping a job, you keep taking the money and going buying the crystal meth. And so you're not feeding the kids and all that. Yeah. So I thought you'd find that interesting, how Travis Alexander grew up. It's a sad story. By their addiction, leading him to run away, age 10, to live with his paternal grandparents, quote unquote, where he found stability and embraced Mormonism. His upbringing was marked by neglect and abuse, which shaped his resilience and determination to build a better life for himself. The joke, his parents are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. These people are all religious freaks, and they're all fucking living the life of the devil. Doing crystal meth, not going and getting help, and you didn't use that crystal meth for years and years and years with 8 children. You didn't just get the addiction and say, hey, we got to get help. We got 8 kids, and went and got help. You were doing it for decades. Yeah. So, no, these people are all supposedly religious and going to these churches, and they're living the life of the fucking devil. It's ridiculous. Upon meeting, okay, so they're going to tell you again, this Sky, her name is, so instead of calling her Hughes, her name they called her was Sky. That's her first name. So we're back to his female friend, Travis's female friend, talking about him, to news reporters and people, So now Sky is telling, upon meeting, they connected instantly. Travis's friend, Sky, told ABC News, female, okay, quote, Jodi's beautiful. Sky said, Jodi's beautiful. She wants to tell the truth to the ABC News and the whole world. Jodi's beautiful. She's friendly, has long blonde hair, cute figure. She was very sweet. She seemed to like him as much as he liked her. According, I lost my place. As much as he liked her, according to the friend Sky. Alexander wanted to marry her. Alexander wanted to marry her. Oh my God. He didn't know anything at first, you know. He tells me that he's found his wife, and this is the girl, and this is the girl that he wants to marry. Sky told ABC News, this is the girl he wants to marry. His devout Mormon, faith, which she did not share, he don't share it either, which she did not share, placed challenges on their sexual relationship. Well, all you had to do, Travis, all you had to do, Travis, was say, no, I'm a devoted Mormon. When you're in the power of God, you have the strength to say no to a beautiful woman that turns you on. I know men have less control than women, but if you're a devout Mormon or a devout Catholic or a devout whatever that Latter-day Saints thing, God gives you the power to say, no, I'm not going to have sex with you. I am devoted to being a Mormon. And she joined, and he baptized her in a lake, and they showed it in the movie. But he went right back to fucking her, and they would do it all night for days. Their sex was so good. So he ain't no devout Mormon. If it wasn't her, the next beautiful woman that hit on him, that turned him on, he'd have been in bed with another one. Yeah, exactly. So, I did not stop his ass days of sex. Wait, am I writing this? Wait, what am I saying? It did not, it's me talking. Okay, I'm talking on this piece of paper. Well, it did not stop his ass days of sex. She became a Mormon. Travis baptized he baptized her, but he never lived a devoted Mormon lifestyle. If it was another beautiful woman he met that really turned him on, he would fuck that one too. If he was a devout Mormon, the man has enough strength to override, his little brain, and stick with the God that he is supposed to be giving his life to. He is supposed to be giving his life to some God of some kind, in the Mormons. But when he fucked her the first time, he's not devout. He's not dependent on his God and his friends that are also Mormons to support him. He's not devout to the Mormon church at all. He took off like a bat out of hell the first time he met a gorgeous woman that he just went ballistic over. Well, if he was devoted, he would have said, I can't have sex. We could date. You really turned me on, and you really are turned on by me, but I'm a devout Mormon. You got to become a devout Mormon, and I'll baptize you, which they did. But he should have said, but we got to wait until we're dating long enough, and we decide that we think marriage is a good decision. And then after we get married, we can have all the sex we want. That's a devout Mormon, okay? So this devout Mormon shit doesn't fly, you know? Wait, you didn't read all this. Let me see. In addition, it's supposed to be in addition. Their friends' troubling behavior when they hung out together, specifically Arias's possessive qualities. See, it was scaring his friends. Her possessive qualities. She just had to sit right by him. She didn't appreciate when he was talking to another female. Alexander's friend Clancy Talbot told Outlet. I don't know what the hell this Outlet means. Some kind of news channel. Told Outlet. According to friends, Arias had stalker-like qualities. According to Travis's friends, Arias had stalker-like qualities. She'd listen in she'd listen in on conversations and read through his text messages on his phone. Once Sky recalled she got a frightening cold, quote-unquote, cold feeling that Arias was outside their closed door. Sky had a feeling that Jodi was standing outside their closed door. When Alexander opened the door to check, he found Arias standing on the other side with a evil look on her face. Well, now that's creepy, isn't it? That could be creepy. Yeah. And so there was a rage in her eyes, and Sky husband Chris said 5 months after they began dating, Arias, Alexander's relationship appeared to end. However, she moved from Palm Desert to Mesa, where Travis lived, in the wear of their split. She would show up unexpectedly to his house on occasion, and friends thought her behavior was suspicious. Yeah. Well, Travis Alexander, I think he felt he was a man, and so if she ever got violent, he could handle her. He never dreamed in his wildest dreams that she was capable of pulling out a butcher knife and stabbing him to death, slaughtering him, and then shooting him in the head. After living in Mesa for approximately 8 months, she moved back to California in April 2008. In May, text messages revealed that two had gotten into a huge fight. In May, text messages revealed the two had gotten into a huge fight. In June, Alexander disappeared before a trip to Cancun with friends, only to be reported dead by Arias, who called the police herself hours after his body was discovered. So she didn't look guilty. That's it. So she didn't look guilty. I thought this was a really good class. I never thought to think about looking up his parents. I never thought to look up his parents or look up the friends talking about they're with Jodi, and Travis Alexander all the time. I never thought to look up all the different friends. You just ask all the different friends. You get the names, yeah. And I think I will elaborate maybe more on that. But yeah, so his friends tried to tell him, um, but I think he thought because he was a man, he could overpower her, and he had no idea that she would ever bring a butcher knife into his room and then stab him to death and then shoot him in the head. I don't think he ever thought she'd go that far. I think he just thought she'd be, really hard to get rid of, you know. Well, he couldn't let it go. The sex was too good. Yeah, where's his fucking devout Mormon? See, if you're devoted Mormon, that Mormon God gives you the power to say no. Yeah, you make me horny as hell, but I am not going to fuck you. I am a devout Mormon. That's what he needed to say. And he didn't do it because he wasn't a devout Mormon. And then see here what happened? You have to stick to your religion. Well, I'm not into, I don't talk religion at all, period. I believe in God and Jesus is the Son of God. And I don't get into conversation about religion. I don't get in conversation about religion, politics, abortion, and I came up with a new one I don't discuss. What was my new one? In my room earlier, I said there's one more topic I won't discuss either. I won't discuss anything controversial. If you can have a pleasant, successful conversation about something, fine. But no, none of those topics. I will not even try to have. I won't even try to have a conversation about religion, politics, or abortion to any human being. Any human being. I'm into enjoying life, not fighting. I love life. I am a happy person, see? I am happy. I don't want to fight with people. I'm not interested in pushing my feelings of politics towards you. I'm not interested in pushing whatever God ways I have. I'm not interested in trying to push it on you. And I'm not, willing to share. Yeah, I only talk about happy things. Well, we're not talking about happy, but I mean, we could be happy, It's a sad story, but we're still alive, and God wants us to be happy. He doesn't want us to, cry the rest of our lives over all these, horrible murders. Yeah, there was another one I just came up with, and now I forgot. But I want to one day hit you with, a best friend of mine stabbed a man 126 times. I know you're going to freak on this. I posted the picture of her. I found the picture, one picture. It was me, her, and my girlfriend, Shannon. The three of us, they took a picture of us, and she's in a light blue vest. I posted it on my Twitter, and I said, see my girlfriend in the long blue vest and the bright red hair and heavy makeup? She stabbed a man 126 times to death in Tennessee. And then I told him, I went through this, drug years, with black people. And actually, the social media pulled me out and made me prove I'm not a robot. Because they just couldn't believe I would have a girlfriend in a picture with me and claim you could see her face and everything, and then claim she stabbed a man. Serial killers don't stab anybody 126 times. I've been studying. See, here I'm going off on spontaneity. That's why you have to watch my classes till the end. Because, see, now I'm going off on spontaneity. Okay? So, the social media pulled me out, and they said, we got to give you a test to see if you're a robot. So answer this one. Which block is that? And okay, you got that one. Which this is that? Okay, you got that one. Which that? You got it. Okay, you could go back. They just couldn't believe what I was saying, that they thought somebody grabbed my computer and was fucking around with it. No, it's a true story. She's been in here, right here where I live. Yeah, I was on her hit list. This is why you have to watch my whole video, okay? And I can tell you. So, and I'm sure the cops flipped out right away too. But the cops, it could take them 2 seconds to take that picture I've got in my social media, standing next to me, holding my hand. So I'm in the middle. Shannon's on one side of me, and Sandra Baumgartner is on the other side of me in a long blue, light blue vest. But the police, it'll take them like 2 seconds to do her picture. You know what I mean? And they're okay, she's not lying. And all I got to do, and I did do, and I'll do right now. Her name's Sandra Baumgartner. See what you're missing if you don't watch my whole show? So what you do, go in your little cell phones y'all like to use and look up Sandra Baumgartner. So I think it's B-U-M-G Gartner, Gart, G-A-R-T or D. That's the only letter I'm confused, so you just try both. So it's Sandra, S-A-N-D, like sand, R-A, Sandra Baumgartner. It's B-A-U-M-G Gartner. Gartner is G-A-R-T-N-E-R. Baumgartner. Baumgartner. B-U-M or B-U-A-M? B-U-M? G-A-R-T-N-E-R. Look up Sandra Baumgartner. Carpentersville, Illinois is where she stabbed her sister to death. Then she was coming to stab me to death, and that's what saved my life. And her dad, she was going to get me and her dad together. See what you're missing when you don't watch my whole video? It just came out of me spontaneously. See why it's called Miss Melinda's Spontaneous Diva Show. See what you're missing? If you didn't stay for this whole class, I'm going to let people know what's at the end, to tell them to go look at the end of this movie. So you look her up, Sandra Baumgartner, but you look her up, not Tennessee. You look her up, Sandra Baumgartner, Carpentersville, Illinois. You know how to spell that. Carpentersville, Illinois. Or was it Crystal Lake? No, I think it was Carpentersville or Crystal Lake. I think it's Carpentersville. She took me to her apartment all the time. She rented a big apartment in a mansion. I've rented apartments in 2 different vintage mansions. One in Elmhurst, Illinois, and one right across the street where Cher Bono used to hang out. See, I got more gossip. Yeah, I was living in Daytona Beach in '79. Back then, you could party your ass off and no cops did nothing. And Cher Bono's ex-husband used to sit in my bar. She used to bring her kids to my bar. But I hadn't started working there until after Cher finally got the divorce from him. I keep forgetting his name. How could I? What the fuck? I keep forgetting his name. Isn't that crazy? He's in the blues band. I'm brain dead on it. Anyway, but he was in my bar when I was working there. She had just divorced him, and so she stopped bringing the kids to the bar. And then I got moved to Daytona Beach, and I moved right across the street in a beautiful vintage apartment. I had the whole upstairs. I had my own wooden patio, around the side of my apartment. You walk outside the door, I'm upstairs, and the wooden terrace. You can walk to one side of the house, to the front of the house, look right across the street at the rec bar across the street from where I lived, and I could walk to the right side of my house up on the balcony also. And I got a job at the rec bar, and Willis was my boss's name, and he was either married or it was his girlfriend, but she was like 8 months pregnant. She was a bartender there, and they served red what do they call it? Red buds, I forget, but they didn't know the name of the drink when I tried to tell it when I vacationed down there a year ago or so. See all the stories I got? Spontaneously. It's why you gotta come to the end. So, look up Sandra Baumgartner. You want to know what's so creepy and spooky about her mugshot? Okay, so she stabs this man 26 times in his apartment. His sister lived with him, but the sister was gone. She got mad at this guy in his apartment and stabbed him 26 times. I have studied serial killers since I was a kid, like in the 1960s. And no serial killer in history has ever stabbed one of their victims 126 times. No serial killer has ever done that. So my best girlfriend's worse than any serial killer around. They don't stab him 126 fucking times. You look it up and show me one serial killer that says he stabbed the victims 126 times. I don't even know how the coroner could count. That would be so many stabs, you would think they'd be blended, But they're not. But I guess if say like some of the stabs were blended, like when she's blah blah, like stabbing, aggressively. Okay, 126 times, right? So some of them, could maybe hit the other one, but the coroner could probably tell. Well, that stab was a separate stabbing from this stabbing. They just got mixed. You know what I mean? That's the only way I could figure out that a coroner could actually count, and he can't lie or take a guess. He counted literally, the coroner, 126 stabbings to a man, and he was laying bloody in the floor, and his sister came home and found him. I was going to start talking to her. I looked her up. I still might. But anyway, you want to know? Look this up on the internet. Well, I found it. I swear to God, in the name of Jesus. The judge in Tennessee said, this is what happened. So she was from Elgin, and she grew up on a street. She took me down her street she grew up on with her parents. It's right here in Elgin, not far away. And she takes me all the way to the end of the road and then turns around, and as we're driving back down her road she grew up on with her parents, she's telling me, and that's so-and-so's house, and that's so-and-so's house. Oh, and that's so-and-so's house that way. Oh, and that's so-and-so's house that way. And I'm like, Sandra, please, can we just go? Can we please go? I can't listen to every house on the block. There was like, the road was a pretty good long-sized road, and there was 1 million houses closely built together, not out far apart like where I always lived. And she's wanting to tell me every freaking neighbor's name on both sides of the street, and there must be 50 on one side of the street and 50 on the other, because they're little houses crouched together, and it's a long street. So that was one thing that got her pissed off. And then I was screaming at her at what I wanted to say about her mugshot. When you look her up, I want you to notice something. And then I got to tell you what the judge said. And I'm going to see if I can refine that, because I read it. Now, I don't know if it's lost or something. But what the judge said, and what made her also mad more about me. Okay, I'm a very controlling person, and then, like, I was getting mad at her at Kohl's. Okay, listen, what the judge said. The judge said this. Well, Sandra has gotten her meds straightened out. Sandra has all her psych meds straightened out. I got the doctor's reports. Her behavior's been fine. But see, you don't get it. She always acts normal. She'll only act out if she's angry enough at you. She'll just she'll plan to go get a butcher knife and get you without her seeing the butcher knife. She'll have it handy, like get you in the car, or come up behind you, and just start stabbing you, and so what saved my life, okay, so, the judge said in Tennessee, Sandra has got her medication straightened out. She's acting right and balanced. Sandra always acted right. See? There's big time serial killers are living normal lives. Maybe Jodi showed, some suspicion, but I've studied serial killers since the 1960s, and I can't think of one that people were suspicious of the guy being a serial killer. Neighbors, friends, work, co-workers, every serial killer I can tell. Gacy was loved by everybody and he had his own business. Ted, what's his name? Ted, I can't think of his last name, Bundy. Ted Bundy. Everybody loved him. He was going to be a lawyer. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So Sandra acted perfectly normal. I act, more wild, and can get a little angry sometimes. But Sandra's like real calm, cool, collected. Yeah. But if you piss her off enough, she's just going to get your ass somewhere where she can whip out this butcher knife and stab you to death. Yeah. But otherwise, she just asks as nice as can be, And the judge said, well, her meds are straightened out now, and she's acting properly. So I do not, this exact quote, I read it on the internet. It said, the judge said, I do not believe Sandra Baumgartner is a danger to society again. She just had to get her meds straightened out. 126 stabbings. And all she had to do was get her psych meds straightened out, and he can guarantee you she is not a danger to society ever again. Oh, what if she gets her meds screwed up again? Or forgets them? I forgot the other night. All night I was up. I forgot till 5 in the morning. I said, oh my God. And that's why I was in here screaming all night long. See what you miss if you don't watch my videos to the end. So isn't that crazy? The judge said, I'm letting it go as long as she lives with her mom and dad up in Elgin, Illinois. As long as she lives with her mom and dad up in Illinois, Sandra can go out, and she has to do outpatient treatment. Outpatient treatment! Ah! And I'm running around. So I go, I don't want to say. I just say I go to a place where she went. And she said, hey, this was the best part of the story that really makes this kick ass. I love telling scary stories, especially around Halloween time. It was Halloween night, and I meet her for the first time. and she says, hey, you want to go with me to zombie night? It was a Friday or Saturday night. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds like fun. I love Halloween. I love scary things. I love scary Halloween parties. I've been to one real good scary one. Well, one so scary for me, but this one kid flipped out. Anyway, and so here I am. Yeah, that sounds like a ball. I haven't done anything since, well, I just moved back from the Dells. Yeah, Wisconsin. Okay, and got cured off of alcohol. So she drove me downtown Elgin on Halloween night, and everybody's dressed as zombies. And they're all walking around with their arms, And we parked the car, and she says, come on, we're not going to pay to get in. It was a bunch of live bands, famous ones. I don't know if Boston was playing that night, but it was a bunch of famous. They always have bands and parties downtown Elgin. Elgin's called the second city of Chicago because it's the next biggest city. So we just walked outside the fence instead of paying to get in the fence and go and watch the show on the stage. We walked on the outside of the fence, all the way up the side of the fence and right up to where the fence ends, and we're standing right in front of the stage like we paid tickets, and we didn't pay a penny, and we're right in front of the stage. We could practically just step right up on it, Yeah, and then she took me out. She had a car and drove. Yeah, she lived a normal life. See, I choose not to drive a car because I'm too manic. Yeah, I'm an excellent driver, but I don't have the patience for people that can't drive as well as I do, But let's not go off on that tangent. Let's stick to happy. So this is the best Halloween story I tell everybody. I go to zombie night. So she takes us, then after the concert's over, with all these different bands, she takes me to a real fancy restaurant. They got a lot of nice restaurants in Elgin. She takes me to a really fancy restaurant. We sit up at this fancy bar that's real big, but neither one of us drink. And she ordered us a really elaborate, expensive pizza and 2 Cokes. And she's like, yeah, treating me, taking me everywhere. And here I am on zombie night. When everybody looks like zombies, they got that makeup on, and their hair teased and sticking out and scary looking. Here I'm running around on Halloween night, zombie night, with a serial killer who just stabbed a man 126 times, and I didn't know it. Can you fucking believe it? She was doing outpatient for her medications. She hid it from all of us. Nobody knew she was doing any outpatient. I don't think we even knew she was on medication. If we did, we just thought she was like me, like a normal, person on some psych meds, Mine's just for manic, I'm a happy manic. I do not get depressed. So I feel real sorry because 90% of manics are manic depressive. But I was lucky. I was born manic happy, as you can tell. I'm always happy and partying. See, I don't need to do any drugs to get hyper and manic. I am manic without the drugs. But I got some good stories, don't I? So yeah. So here I am with this woman, and I fell in love with her because she was manic like me. So she had like a whole bunch of different mental illnesses, narcissism, borderline personality, just like Arias, Jodi Arias. See, I don't have narcissism or borderline personalities. I think that's when you get into murder or whatever. I'm just manic, happily manic. Yeah, I love it. I'm happily manic. And I get tired, of telling through the year. Well, I don't see any doctors anymore. I'm the boss of my psych meds, and I don't talk to any psych doctors. about my psych meds. It's my business. It took me 35 years to get my psych meds. So anyway, but if I don't take them, I'm not going to kill you. No. In fact, I'll just be like I am right now. Really happy. Extra happy. No, I took my night meds tonight. I took them by 7. See, I'm just having manic episodes because I'm with people and I love people. I'm a people addict. I love you guys. I love you guys so much. Will you subscribe for me and be my friend? I'm a people person. I'm a people lover. I'm a people addict. Please subscribe and be my friend. I want to have as many friends as I want, as I can have. I was most popular in high school because I loved everybody. I talked to everybody. I hung out with everybody. The bad, good, in between. I hung out with everybody, and I love everybody, you know. And I just want you guys to subscribe so you can be my friend too. So would you subscribe and be my friend too? I love you very much, my subscribers I already have. I love all of you. I hope you stayed to the end of this video. And I want to tell you about the white jacket. And I love all the viewers I'm getting. Thousands and thousands of hits of views. And they're starting to watch my videos because I started this new law class. I just spaced out. I started thinking about my serial killer girlfriend stabbing her sister to death. I met her sister at the house where her sister rented a back apartment of this vintage mansion. And Sandra rented an upstairs front apartment. And we were coming out. She had a big dog, a little dog, and a bunch of kitty cats that I love. And the dogs fell in love with me and the cats. And so me and Sandra came downstairs and were going to her car. And her sister was shoveling snow in the driveway. And she said, this is Melinda. This is my sister so-and-so. I forgot it now. And this is Melinda. This is my sister. Oh, hi. Nice to meet you. We get in her car. She got a real old-fashioned big car like I love. And she'd always bring the dogs with us. A big, huge dog and a little dog. And they'd be barking away. And when she would take me home, in front of my house where I live, and I started to get out of that car, those dogs never cried so hard. I've never heard any dogs cry so hard in my life. When I was getting my bags and getting out of the car, those dogs cried harder than any dogs I've ever heard cry. They really fell in love with me. And I think Sandra was gone a lot because she was dry, so they were lonely. But at least they had each other and the kitty cats. Yeah, that helps a lot. When your dogs and cats have each other, the more you have, the more, they're not as lonely as one dog sitting there waiting for their master all day or one cat. No. But see, also, she was going to college at Westwood College by O'Hare Airport, where y'all fly into Chicago on Manheim Street. She was driving at night to Westwood, so she was very intelligent, and she was already a nurse. She was already a registered nurse. Yeah, so she was making good money, but she wasn't working right then. I don't know. And so then she was going to Westwood College. So the doggies and the kitty cats were getting left alone a lot. And so anyway, that's a crazy story, isn't it? And the judge says, I do not feel that Sandra is a danger to society anymore, again, ever. She got her meds straight. And as long as she moves in and lives with her mom and dad, she can go home and live with mom and dad and keep taking your medicine. And she will never be a danger to society again. Now you tell me, how could that, you think that, you know what? They should have had a bunch of cops walk in to that judge when he's saying that, grab him and handcuff him and throw him in prison. That's what they should have done, the cops that were there. When that judge is saying, I'm letting her walk free, I don't think she's a danger to society anymore. Ever, he's got to guarantee it to let her go. I don't think she is a danger to society ever again. She's got her meds right. Oh, like she can't forget to take them? Yeah, you know, it happens to me all the time. But I don't kill people. I'm happily manic. I just get more happy if I forget my meds and don't go to bed. But I took my meds at 7, so I won't be up all night. But I think I spontaneously, I just gave you guys some entertainment. This is Memorial Weekend. Well, maybe if you're watching me, or you'll eventually hop on me, the ones that are my subscribers and fans and viewers. You'll hop on, and you will, if you're smart and you start listening to all those videos. I keep saying state of the end. And I'm going to tell you the next video I make to watch the end of this. Now, see what you would have missed? Yeah. So, Sandra Baumgartner, yeah. So, the reason why she stabbed her sister to death, they were fighting over her dad's Social Security check. He was in a nursing home, and the Social Security check was paying for his rent in this nursing home. Sandra kidnapped the father out of the nursing home and started stealing his checks, Social Security checks. I don't know, I guess she was getting away with saying she's taking care of her dad, and she has to cash his checks for him because he's not physically able to do that. And her sister said, no, you're going to put Dad back in that nursing home and give me that Social Security check back again. And when her sister went downstairs, came around and from the back of her apartment or whatever, and was going to go, I think, get in her car to go somewhere, Sandra ran up to her and started screaming at the top of her lungs, and they were screaming back and forth at 10 o'clock at night. But the neighbors just kept ignoring it. And so Sandra was already equipped, with the butcher knife, because she knew her sister wasn't gonna let her keep the father kidnapped and out of the nursing home, and her sister knew she wasn't going to give that Social Security check to her. And so Sandra went down there equipped with a butcher knife and started stabbing her. After they've been screaming for like 15, 20 minutes, then she takes off. Instead of jumping in her car and driving away some way, she runs into the woods. They had woods right across the street from the house they rented, and hid in the woods. And she always had heavy makeup on. That was real important to her. She dyed her hair a real bright red and had real heavy makeup on all the time. So she ran into the woods. Now the neighbors decide, I don't know, I'm hearing too much some fighting out there. I think we better call 911. Duh. You wait until after she stabs her to death and then you call 911? Oh my God. How can people be that stupid? It's so sad. She bled to death in that driveway, right where I met her. Yeah. So now you know, and it's a sad story. And then the animals, of course, became homeless. We don't want to go there, please. All right, you guys, I love you all. New viewers, please subscribe and watch till the end of my classes, because it's just spontaneity comes out of me. It's just spontaneity. and I love all you guys, and I hope you enjoyed this class. I thought you would enjoy learning about who Travis was, who Jodi Arias was. They told a lot in this last half of the class about them, and the friends talked a lot about their experiences hanging out with the two of them. They had a lot to say, and I hadn't looked that up for you yet, you know. And then you had I looked up the parents because I knew I had dirt on them, and it said yes, they had a drug addiction to crystal meth. So yeah, sad story. All right, well, we'll see you next class, and just don't forget, I never know what's going to happen at the end of the class. I love you guys. Please subscribe. And will you guys do me another favor? Will you hit my like button, please? Thank you. I love you. Blowing you kisses. Okay, good night.